Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I am super excited to bring you some brand new Colourpop haul items of mine. I took advantage of the sale that Colourpop had when they launched their new blushes with Kathleen Lights. Today we're just going to get to play with some of the things that I bought. I think that this is just a fun kind of start of summer look using mostly a full face of Colourpop actually. I'm just missing a couple items. If you'd like to check out what I got, then just stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started. So I just started by using a little bit of the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer and then followed up by just filling in my brows. I think I used the Anastasia Brow Wiz. So I do have my brows microbladed, but I just wanted a little bit more definition since we're going to be going through with some color today. So I am really excited to try out this concealer. I've been looking for a new drugstore concealer and I've heard good things about this. So I did get the No Filter Concealer. And I believe this is supposed to be a matte finish, which I was a little bit concerned about because I'm not usually a matte kind of girl. I usually like a satin or probably even glowier. But so I'm hoping that that might mean that this will have some really good staying power. And I will probably just apply it with a damp beauty blender just to hopefully give it a little bit more sheerness and a little dew. So I did pick this up in 2 shades. And that's one thing that I will say. I felt like there was a real lacking in some shades. Like you guys will see here, the difference between light and medium, I felt like was quite a stretch. So I think they could use a few more shades, but sometimes that's what happens with, you know, a more affordable price line is you have to start out with a few less shades. I did find that it was a little bit hard to try to find your shade online. So we will see. I picked up light 16 and medium 22. So they did have cool, warm, and some more neutral shades. So we will, wish me luck. Hopefully I picked out the right shade. So I will swatch these for you guys. We have light and the medium shade. So we have light and medium. And I do like a little bit of a lighter tone underneath my eyes just to brighten a little bit. The fly just flew right past my microphone. So I might just have to leave that in so you guys can hear like the dive bomb. There is this fly that's been in here and, oh, that's really gonna bother me. There is a fly that's in here and I actually did hit it, but it resurrected itself and now it's flying back around again. So, hopefully we can catch that at some point, but I'm just going to keep filming. So I'm going to go ahead and go through with a damp beauty blender. And I never have time to run into the bathroom to wet my beauty blender, and I always forget. So I just keep a spray bottle filled with water by my vanity, and I just spray that down, give it a good squeeze over a towel. And that's how I kind of like hack that in the morning, because I also really like to use the beauty blushers versus the big actual beauty blender. The beauty blender is a little bit too big. I really use a brush usually for foundation or tinted moisturizer. So then I just go through, but I do really like a sponge for concealer. Feeling like I'm going to start with medium and then we'll see how that goes. And I'll put the prices of everything up on the screen so you guys can see. Really, this was very affordable. So all of Colourpop I find is really affordable, definitely more of your drugstore pricing. And when I did my order, Colourpop was also doing 20% off of all of Kathleen's favorites just to coordinate with her blush launch. And I will also just use this as my eye primer. So I'm mixing, well, is that the same shade? Okay, so this oxidizes like right away. So I would just be aware of that. If you are able to, they do sell Colourpop at Ulta. If you are able to swatch it on your hand, it gets darker almost upon application. I actually thought I grabbed the wrong shade when I set the bottle down for a moment, but it just like completely changed. So yeah, if you have drier skin, I don't necessarily know that this would be a concealer for you. I have I would say like combination skin, but once the summer heat and humidity starts coming, I find that I get a little bit oily, especially in my T-zone. But it does cover pretty well. I would say it's medium. Yeah, I would say medium coverage. It's not like super full, but it's not like very light, like something like the Naked Concealer from Urban Decay. That's a really light one. I did like using that. I feel like it started breaking me out after a while, but I did like that. And so you guys can see. So I like it. I think it'll be interesting to see how it wears. I'm going to powder it down now. Like I said in my BoxyCharm video, the only powder that I really care to use is the Hourglass Vanish powder, just because it's so finely milled and I don't feel like it looks super powdery on the skin. So I set the concealer down, and I'll make sure when all is said and done to zoom you in so that you can see the final result. I would say I like this. One of my favorite drugstore concealers right now is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and I would say that this is actually fairly comparable. This might have a little bit more coverage and it's a little bit more matte. Really just can't wait to bust into these blushes. So I think I'm gonna crack these open. So Kathleen Lights, if you guys don't know Kathleen Lights, you probably just got on YouTube. But she really is one of my favorite beauty YouTube creators, and I have really enjoyed all of her collabs with Colourpop, so I'm excited to try these blushes. I did just get the single pans, and I'm going to put it into my own palettes. So I bought 2 of the shades. I have the shade I Need Space and the shade So Retrograde. I really couldn't decide what to get. It was like, you know, I pretty much have all the blush I will ever need, and my grandkids could have some of my blush if we weren't concerned about expiration dates. But I really was excited to try these because I know Kathleen Lights is kind of picky about her blushes, and so am I. So I was excited to try this one. And I got I Need Space because I'm pretty sure that this is the one that she said she made off of the shade in the Kathleen Lights Zodiac palette with Colourpop, the Libra shade. And that is like one of my favorite all-time transition shades. So I really enjoy it, and I was so excited that they started doing the single shades from the palette that I actually got the Libra in the single shade as well, because I actually enjoy, I know she had mentioned in her video, like using it as a blush. So I've actually used this as a blush before. So I did get the little single of the Libra, and it looks to be really the same. Let me swatch these. I know I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but so this is like kind of like a beigey, nudie pink. Yeah, they look really, really close. You guys won't be able to see that because it's basically like flesh tone, but they do look really close when they're swatched. So I'm sure that they'll be exact, because you know, you get that shade in a palette and it's like your one shade that you love using so much, and then you use it up and you don't want to exactly buy another palette just to get that one shade. So that's great that she did that, because there's a few of shades in this palette that are really, really pretty. And so this is the Zodiac palette, and that's the Libra shade. So that's the one I got individually. So this is the I Need Space blush, and I think that that's going to be really beautiful. And I also got So Retrograde, which is this beautiful shimmery, like orangey gold blush, and I'm excited to try both of these. So let's do swatches of these. So there are swatches of both shades. It's going to be a really, the I Need Space is going to be a really natural blush, like that blush when you don't really want to wear a lot of blush. And So Retrograde is going to be great for the summer. So I'm going to go ahead and use I Need Space today, because I'm not tan enough, I don't think, yet to pull off So Retrograde. So we'll go ahead and do that. I was so excited to hop into the blushes, I completely forgot to bronze first. I basically always conceal, bronze, and then blush and highlight, or highlight and then blush, depending on how highlighty I want my highlight to look. So I'm going to go ahead and bronze first. I'm going to go ahead and use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is one that's really nice when you're just looking for more of like a natural, almost like bronze / contour. It's, I would say, more on the neutral, almost to cool side for my skin type. And this is just the regular bronzer shade, because I know they do now have several shades. So we'll go ahead and go through and get a little bronze on. So now that I'm bronzed, I'm going to go ahead and go through with blush. Since this is a more natural blush, I'm going to go through with a little bit more dense of a blush brush. I find that a denser brush, when you're working with more natural shades, you can usually get a little bit more color payoff with them. If I'm working with something really pigmented, then I just use something a bit more fluffy. So this definitely has like a really pretty pinky, not like bubblegum pink, but it has a little bit of like a soft pink sheen to it. I'm kind of going ham here, but I really like I said, I like a lot of soft blush. So you can see that I have a nice little sheen going on, and that's just from the blush. So the blush is nice and glowy, but up close you don't see any sparkle whatsoever. It's not like, I wouldn't even say you see like a sheen. It just looks like really healthy skin. This is really pretty. I might have to go and try out a few more. I don't think I actually have used any Colourpop powder blushes before, so coming from the girl who just said that she doesn't need any more blush, but if this is how the formula is for all of them, I definitely recommend picking some of these up, especially for the price. So before we move on, I also wanted to show you guys, I did get a couple of the blush sticks. I have been so into using cream blushes, and I just find that you really get, with any cream product, I've actually really been into cream bronzers and cream highlights as well, but I find especially cream blushes just give you that really pretty flush to the cheeks, and cream just makes your skin look glowy and youthful. So I definitely want to try a couple of these out. I got 2 of the shades. I got Under Pressure. Yeah, that's going to be really pretty. That's just kind of like this one's more of like, it doesn't have a lot of sheen. It's just, I would say, more of like a cream finish and like a peachy pink thing. And then this one is Mic Drop. So I did want to get 2 of the more pigmented shades. That was one thing when I was watching some swatches, that some of them seem pretty sheer, which is great if you're looking for something that's just very, very of a delicate look. But I find that especially with cream blush, by the time you blend it out, it can sort of like blend into nothing. So I wanted some pigmented shades, especially if you have more of an oily skin type. I feel like blush is one of those things that fades off first throughout the day. So I wanted to have something that has a little bit more pigment impact. So Mic Drop is right next to Under Pressure. And that one is definitely more of a like poppier rose shade. So it definitely has more of that like bright pink shade to it, but not like, almost a little bit more like raspberry pink, not like super bubblegummy. So unfortunately I can only wear so much blush at a time, and I really wanted to try out the formula for those powder blushes since I've never used them before, and I will try these and get back to you. I actually think Under Pressure would be really pretty with So Retrograde over the top as like a blush topper, so you might have to try that. If you guys would like to see some of my favorite cream products, or if you want to see me use some of these cream blushes, let me know in the comment bar below. I'm always looking for new video ideas. I would like to do a couple fun summer tutorials and show you guys some of my summer favorites now that hopefully the weather is going to be getting warmer. So I really enjoy the Colourpop gel liners. I've used a few in the past, and I find that they're excellent. They're very pigmented and worth the price. So I did pick up a couple. I've really been getting into like a brown eyeliner. I don't wear a lot of pencil eyeliners. I do more like liquid or no eyeliner at all, but I have been liking just smoking a little bit of a deeper brown at the lash line for a little bit of definition on like almost like a no liner day. So this first shade, which one do we have here? This one is Brew-haha. This is a darker brown. And then I have Mr. Bing, which was, I believe, a collab with Kathleen a while ago. And this is definitely, so Brew-haha is almost like a black brown where it's definitely a cooler tone. Mr. Bing is warmer. I wouldn't say it has like a reddish tone, but it's definitely a little bit warm. So you guys can see there, after being smudged especially, you can see that Brew-haha on this side is darker and cooler, and then Mr. Bing is a little bit lighter and warmer. So I think those are both going to be a lot of fun to play with. And then I love, evidently, this one so much that I bought it twice because I just realized in my bucket of eyeliners here that I have one right here. So I did purchase a while ago, actually, a couple of the neon shades from their little neon launch that they did. And I just bought Crssd, Crssd. I bought it twice. So I evidently really wanted a yellow eyeliner. So these definitely have some pigment, but because they do have a white base, they look, I don't want to say chalky, but you know, it's like that neon feel to it. So sorry, my hand is like a total hot mess, but you can see here, that's Crssd. And then the neon green is Electric Daisy. So since I really wanted to use Crssd, but I evidently haven't yet because I would have remembered because I bought the dang thing, let's go ahead and use that in an eye look today. So I'll probably just go through and do something. I also bought this blue mascara. So this is the Volumizing BFF mascara, and I bought it in Blue Ya Mine. So I think I'm going to do like a little yellow and blue. I think that'll be kind of fun. Honestly, I'm going to play with the Zodiac palette a little bit. I will zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit better, and we'll do an eye look. I'm going to begin by using the Libra, and this is that shade that I was saying I love from the palette. It really creates such a beautiful transition just using that with a fluffy blender brush from the high crease all the way down onto the lid a bit to create a smooth blend. So this is going to help all of those shadows blend together. And then moving into the Taurus, this gorgeous caramely brown adds some warmth and depth to the look. I love that it does have some warmth, but it really is more neutral, so it goes well with every shade in the palette. It's a great one to have in here, and I use it a lot. So just using that same blender brush, the same one that we used for the Libra shade, keeping this look really easy, and just blowing that out for a soft look. And now I'm going to go through with a flat shadow brush and the Leo. The Leo is a gorgeous orangey copper shade, and wetting my brush with Fix Plus from MAC is going to help add that intensity of shine. So we'll go through and press that onto the lid, and this color is so gorgeous. It really does shift from copper into gold, and I find it to be such a great one for summer. And just pressing that and laying it onto the lid. When I'm done, I'm going to use my finger to press more of that shade onto my lid. I find that when you use a wet brush, it gives a great foiled effect, but it can sometimes thin out that shadow and decrease the pigment. So I wanted to go through and just add a bit more of that shadow with my finger and intensify the pigment. And because I'm going for a softer look here, I'm going to take that blender brush again and just smooth out any edges. Sometimes when you use a wet brush, it'll almost start to look more like a cut crease, and I wanted to keep it soft. We'll see how this goes with this yellow shade. It might be a little too neon, but we'll make it work. I just really want to use this. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, you know, when you're having that moment where you're like, I'm sort of like regretting my life decisions. So I hope that isn't the case here. So off camera, because my camera started overheating, I started using this yellow liner, and I just didn't feel like it was working with the look as well. So I just covered that up with a bit of concealer. I'm gonna go through with the Aries and dust that underneath my lash line, my lower lash line, because I think that that orange is gonna really make a lower lash line of that blue pop. And then we'll use Mr. Bing on the top of the eye. You know, sometimes you just start a look and it isn't coming out the way that you think it would, and you just have to make it work. So I just, again, covered that up with a little bit of concealer. It was just a little too neon, and I don't think that it's going to blend as well. Okay, I'm feeling much better about that now. The colors go a little bit better. I think that other shade was just a little too neon. I'll have to play with that a little bit more. I will say it was definitely very creamy, almost so creamy that it was a little bit harder to control. But thankfully that concealer came in handy, and that's something that you can always do. I actually a lot of times will take a little bit of concealer and clean up if I like blow out a look too far and it starts to like go down a little bit. So I'll just tap a little bit of concealer in, and that worked great. Sometimes things don't go as planned. So now what we'll go ahead and do is I'm going to line the upper rim with Mr. Bing and probably the inside of the lower rim as well. Okay, now that my upper lash line has been lined with Mr. Bing, I'm going to take a little bit of the Virgo, which is the dark brown shade, just because I am a Virgo, and smudge that right over the top of that liner, just to give it a little bit of a smokier effect, and then also that's going to help give it a little bit more longevity. Anytime that you place that powder over a cream, it's always going to like set the cream. I'm just almost like smudging it out. By the way, this is the Sigma Smudge E21, and I don't really hear a lot of people talk about this brush, but I really like it. It's has a little domed top to it, but it's a flat, so it's like a flat liner brush almost, but it's almost like the tiniest eyeshadow brush you could get. So now I've just got like a nice little smokier lash line. And just very lightly with not much pressure going over the edge of that just to smoke it out and up. I really like that. We'll see how this does on the lower lash line. I don't know if you'll get to see the clip, but the tip of this, when I was lining my upper lashes, because I was wearing that metallic shadow, you have to press a little more firmly and go over anytime you're using a metallic shadow. It just, like an eyeliner just doesn't go over that very well unless you're using like a liquid or a cream. So, and even then it's kind of questionable, but I was pressing down a little bit harder and the top of this did pop off. So these cream liners, these like gel creams are just that. They are like pretty creamy. So you can't really use a lot of pressure, and I should have known better. So just a word to the wise there. This works really nicely on the waterline though. I'll be curious to see how that stays because it went on really easy. Okay, so I'm gonna hop off camera to curl my lashes and apply black mascara to my upper lashes, and then we'll come back to finish the face. Okay, mascara is all done. Now let's go ahead and try this blue mascara. So colored mascaras are so fun. I find that they can really add just a little pop of color, whether you're looking to just do a clean liner with a little bit of a colored mascara, or you want to be a little bit more dramatic like I am today. But I think that the orangey eyeshadow look that we have going on is really going to contrast well with the blue mascara on the bottom lashes. So it'll just be a fun way to add a little extra pop of color. It doesn't exactly go with what I'm wearing, but that's okay. Now, one way that you can get your colored mascaras to show up a little bit more is to wear a white mascara or a white primer first before you go ahead with your color. And Colourpop does actually have a white mascara, so that would be something if you want it to be a little bit more electric. I don't know if you guys are even going to be able to see that from the distance that the camera will go, but it does just add like a little like peekaboo of color. Like, oh, does she have blue on? And I really like that. I think it's like a fun, fresh way to show that. If I can, I will add a picture in just so you can see a little bit clearer view of the mascara. This really is such a pretty mascara. Like, I don't even know if I even showed you guys. I was just so excited to use it. I'm going to add a little bit more. And like I said, you can definitely get a little bit more intensity out of a shade. Wow, I just got that in my hair. I think I actually have more blue mascara in my hair now than I do on my eyeballs, so that's fun. Yeah, it's like right where the wand would go. My hair's a little out of control today. What's new? So that's super pretty. I think blue mascara can just, like I said, it can just really add that little pop of color, and I would love it if they would do like a burgundy shade. I know they have a red, but although I wonder if the red would show up a little bit more burgundy on dark lashes. I might have to investigate that. But anyway, I'd love a burgundy shade. Okay, so the eye look's all done. We've got the face almost done, but we haven't done highlight yet. So what I'm going to use for my highlight today is actually a shade that's in the Zodiac palette, and it's the Cancer, which is this top one here. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see if I can get close enough. Can't quite see. So this is a shimmer shade that's almost like peachy pinky goldy shift to it. So we're going to go ahead and use that as our highlight. And I think that if you wanted a great highlight at a really good price, you could certainly just get this shade in the single, especially now that Kathleen went ahead and launched that with Colourpop, where you can just get the one shade. And of course now the air conditioning right outside the window is going to go on. So bear with me. So you guys can see that this just has a really pretty pinky shift. It's almost a little more pink than I would necessarily want with the eye look, but we sort of changed around a little bit. And I always do a little bit of highlighter on my Cupid's bow. And I tend to avoid my nose. As you can see, it's already starting to get a little glowy, so we won't go down that road. I'm wondering, what do you guys think? Let's go ahead and be daring and throw a little bit of this over the top, almost like a blush and highlight topper, just because we have that shade, just because the eye look is so warm. Oh, so this is without, it's got that cooler pink shift to it. Oh yeah, whoa. That is really pigmented. I don't think that you guys will be able to see with the lights on, but it is quite a colorful shade, but super, super pretty. So that's going to be great for summer. So the mix of those two actually did work out pretty well. Can you guys see them like basically highlighting my whole face now? A girl's dream. Okay, so now we'll set our face. I'm using the Morphe Aerosol setting spray. I actually do really like this. So now we have most of our face done, except we still have to do lips. So I have a lot of Colourpop lipsticks. They're probably some of my favorite. I love the Lippie sticks, which are the slimmer tubes. I really enjoy the Ultra Satin lips. Those are the liquid ones that aren't super dry. And I really like the lip glosses as well. But I did pick up one lip item. To be honest, I have so many of like every lip that I could possibly need. But Kathleen's Lumiere shade in the Lippie stick, I've gone through 2 of those tubes. I really enjoy the Lippie sticks. And that shade is just a beautiful, like, sort of neutrally mauve tone. It just looks pretty on every single person I've ever seen it on. And so I wanted to pick up the Lippie pencil. There we go. Beautiful mauve-y tone. My hand is like crazy covered in swatches. I gotta get better at this. We'll get there. The Lippie pencils are super creamy and pretty, and I just wanted to be able to add this one into my collection, but I think it's a little bit too cool toned for the eye look and the face that we ended up with. So I'm gonna grab a different shade, and maybe we'll just do a little bit of lip gloss, because I do really like the Colourpop lip glosses as well. Okay, so I found a lip gloss I want to use. This is the Colourpop Tokyo Tea, and I think this is going to look really pretty. It's a creamy, bright peachy coral. So I think this will be a lot of fun. This is a very, very pigmented gloss. Now I feel like I'm ready for summer. So these glosses are really thick and creamy. They're not at all sticky. These are a really nice gloss for the price. This Tokyo Tea color, I don't know if they still make this one. That's the thing with Colourpop, is they're having lots of like limited edition shades and launches all the time, so you just never know. But formula-wise, these are very nice, and they have some that have more like shimmer to them and glitter, and then they have some that are more creamy like this. So I think that this whole look turned out really pretty. I'm actually glad that I put on that So Retrograde over the top. I could see adding a little bit more bronzer to this and just pretending like it's the middle of summer. Okay guys, so thank you for hanging out with me during my Colourpop haul. I'm really excited about the powder blushes. Like I said, I'm really impressed by that formula. I might have to pick up a couple more shades of them and try them out. And other than that, I think for me, I've known that I like these cream gel liners, but I really did enjoy the Mr. Bing shade. I'm glad to finally have that. I was a little bit disappointed with this one just because it was so creamy that it was a little bit hard to control. And when you're using brighter shades like this, you want to have a little bit more control, but I just have to play with it a little bit more. It totally could be me. The concealer worked out great. I have the tiniest bit of creasing, but in all honesty, I think that's just because I had to go over what I had done with the eye look. I mean, you can't blame the product for getting loaded on over the top of powder either. So I'm excited to play this a little bit more, and I can't wait to try these blushes. I will really be interested to see how they compare to some of my other favorite creams. Let me know if you guys would like to see a cream video. I definitely enjoy utilizing that for a fresh, healthy glow. And I hope you enjoyed getting to just play with some makeup with me today. Please like this video. It really helps out my channel, and comment if you have any questions. And like I said, let me know if you have any video ideas that you'd like to see. I'd like to bring you guys content that you'd find helpful. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you very soon. Okay, so I'm really excited for the view. Did you guys just see that fly?